Hello, welcome to Confessions of a Frustrated Game Master. I am Robert, the narrator, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Confessions. So, this episode is going to be an addendum to a previous episode, episode number 15. When do you know the end is nigh? So, what that episode was about is how to know that you've received all the signs that it may be time to leave your current gaming group. And in that episode, I talked about the fact that I have left my gaming group of 25 or so years because of the lack of variety in setting and genre and system when I wasn't DMing or GMing. So you can check out that episode if you like. This is an addendum to that episode. And a couple of weeks after filming episode 15, I came across some additional feelings that I didn't think of originally. And I wanted to put that information down. What happened a couple of weeks after filming episode 15 is I was contacted by one of the members of my group, my former group, and they were stopping the game that they were currently running and was opening it up for anyone who wanted to run. Initially, I was excited because, as you may or may not know, I have addressed this in previous episodes, but right now I am fulfilling my New Year's resolution to complete an RPG that I've been working on a while, and at some point I'm going to be doing playtesting. So initially I was excited because of the opportunity, hey, maybe get a chance to do a little bit of playtesting. But two things occurred. The first thing is I am right now in the process of cleaning up the rules, hammering out world information and setting information. I could definitely run. I have a ton of pre-gens. The system has been play tested previously, so I know it's solid. I'm just cleaning up a couple of things. But I could use a little bit more time. The next time I present the game to anyone, I kind of want to have a lot of the setting information written clearly and concisely. So I was excited, but that was in the back of my mind. The second thing was of bigger concern to me. And this was the thing that I thought of that I hadn't thought of when I recorded episode 15. And this may happen to you if you have gamed with the same group for a long period of time. The reason that my excitement didn't last is because my former group has ceased to surprise me. That is the reason that my excitement quickly went away. And when I say that my former group of 25 years, friends that I've been playing with almost since I've been in the hobby, when I say that they have stopped surprising me, I don't mean tactically. Any GM who's been running for a while will know that your players are always going to do something that you weren't prepared for or didn't think of. So I don't mean that. I don't mean surprise me tactically. My former group is actually, a lot of the members are very, very tactically sound. Maybe too tactically sound, and I'll address that in a couple of minutes. But when I say my former group has ceased to surprise me, I mean they ceased to surprise me with the types of characters they play. They ceased to surprise me with the way they respond to particular quandaries or some obstacles or moral dilemmas that their characters may come across. And a lot of them, no matter what their character's background is, if they've even bothered to give their character a background, or what their character's personality is if they have solidified a personality, they continue to respond to certain issues the exact same way, no matter what game we're playing or what character they're playing. And as a GM, this may be one of my flaws as a game master. I thrive off of my players' creativity. If you have players who 95% of the time play the same character classes, clearly show that they are motivated by the same thing, trying to break the system, or always respond to similar situations the exact same way, I, as a game master, lose a little bit of what excites me. So when the opportunity came up to perhaps do some more play testing, not that it was a slam dunk that my group would want to do so, it didn't appeal to me, because I felt like after playing with mostly the same group of folks for 25 years, it's become predictable. When we sit down to make characters, I know that I will have one player who is going to focus entirely on attempting to break the system. That player will never surrender in combat, no matter what his character's background is, or if he has a background, he will have such a background or personality that he will never surrender, no matter what it means for the rest of the party members. One of the players in my group will make the support character and do a great deal of working the referee during the game. And I have another player in my group who will want to play a stealthy character, usually the rogue, some form of ranged rogue character. And there's a player in the group who will play what no one else has played and will give variation to his character, but will also do a great deal of working the referee. There is a lack of variety as to the types of classes, backgrounds, and personalities that also what has become predictable, as you probably can tell from what I've said, is that there are a few players in my old group who don't play their characters, they play the game. And what I mean by that is a great deal of them, the idea of playing a character to the point where that character doesn't always think of the next best tactical option is anathema to them. It's not fun to play someone who doesn't have a complete tactical understanding of what is going on and doesn't have any personality flaws that would prevent them from always making the best tactical choice. And this is not really a criticism of that type of player. I never want to tell people how to have fun. But just like I say, the reason I moved away from the group because there was mostly fantasy going on. Just as I say with that, I don't dislike fantasy. I don't dislike Dungeons and Dragons. I just dislike the fact that when I'm not running, that is the only option I had pretty much. I don't dislike players who cannot bring themselves to play a character who doesn't attempt to always make the optimal choice. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just a situation where since that is the only thing I'm ever exposed to, it makes the hobby less fresh, I guess you could say. So that is the addendum to episode 15. A feeling that I really wasn't aware that I had until I had a chance to run again. So, what do you think about this? How do you fight the feeling of the hobby not feeling fresh, or your players not surprising you? If you have players who like to play the same type of characters and use the same tactics, have you been running a long time as a game master, or have you been in a hobby a long time, and have you ever seen this? Let me know in the comments. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Confessions. And good morning or good evening, wherever you are.